Good day, everyone. We are the Group 2, and today we are thrilled to take you an enlightening journey into the world of books. Before we dive in, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Charlie Maysino Daza, and together with me are
I am Orion Mackenzie Tampos.
I am Econ Crystal Faye.
Good morning. I am Kathleen Jane H. Itorma.
A pleasant morning, everyone. I'm Maurice Jonalyn Caminero.
we are excited to explore the transformative power of reading. Books are not just pages filled with words. They are portals to new ideas, adventures, and knowledge. As we embark on this journey together, remember this inspiring thought. The more that you read, the more things you'll know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. This quote by Dr. Seuss beautifully highlights the transformative power of reading. The more you read, the more knowledge you gain, opening your minds to new ideas and perspective. Each book acts as a guideway, leading you to unexplored places, both in the world and within yourself. So embrace the adventure of reading. It's not about the words on the pages, it's about the endless possibilities that awaits you. The journey begins with a single book. So dive in and let your imagination soar. Now, let's begin with this adventure. I'll hand it over to Miss Maurice Janelyn Caminero to get us started.
Thank you so much, Miss Charlene. So now we'll start with our lesson. So for today, we will be discovering about silent reading. So what is silent reading? Silent reading is a method of reading where you focus on understanding the text without vocalizing the words or making any lip movement. So in short, silent reading is a fundamental method of reading that emphasizes understanding over vocalization. It involves absorbing information from written text by processing words and their meanings directly in the mind, without speaking them aloud or making any lip movement. This allows for increased reading and improvement concentration, as the reader can focus solely on the context of the text. So next slide, please. So now we will dive into the significance of silent reading in teaching literature. So here is the mnemonics CDFFCP. So C stands for comprehension, D stands for develop, F stands for foster, another F stands for fluency, C stands for cultivate, and letter P stands for pace. So next slide, please. So now let's start with enhanced comprehension. So reading silently or silent reading allows students to focus intently on the text, fostering deeper comprehension of the plot, characters, and themes. So in short, silent reading helps students understand what they read better because they can focus fully on the text. Without speaking out loud, they can concentrate more to the story, characters, and the message of the author that they want to share. This quiet, focused reading leads to a deeper and more personal connection with the book. So next slide, please. So now let's have development of critical thinking. So silent reading encourages students to engage in active thinking, prompting them to analyze, interpret, and evaluate the literary work. So in short, silent reading builds critical thinking because it makes students actively engage with the text. Since they're not reading out loud, they have to think more deeply about the story. So this quiet thinking helps them to understand better and encourage them to think more for themselves. So now let's have focusing imagination and visualization. Silent reading allows students to create mental picture. enhancing their imaginative engagement with the text. So silent reading boosts imagination by letting students create their own mental picture of what they read. Without needing to listen to words, they can imagine the setting, the characters, and events more clearly. So this helps them connect with the story in a deeper and more personal way. So next slide, please. Okay, now let's dive into increased reading fluency. So regular silent reading practice helps students improve their reading speed and fluency, which are essential for navigating complex literary texts. So regular silent reading helps students read more smoothly and quickly without speaking out loud. They can get better at recognizing words and understanding sentences. This makes it easier to them to read harder texts and focus on the meaning, not just the words. Over time, silent reading builds confidence and improves the overall reading skills. So now let's have cultivating a love for reading. Silent reading provides a personal and immersive experience, allowing students to connect with literature on an emotional level. So silent reading creates a personal and meaningful experience where readers engage with the story in their own way, feeling the emotion and forming their own ideas. So this helps them enjoy reading more and can lead to a lifelong love for books. So next slide, please. So now we are on to the last significant, which is individual pacing. So silent reading allows each student to move through the text at their own pace. So silent reading lets students read at their own pace, which help them understand better. Unlike group reading, they can stop, reread, or take time when needed. This makes reading easier and more enjoyable, matching each student's learning styles and helping them avoid frustration. So that, my dear students, are the significance of silent reading in teaching literature. So now, here is Teacher Urian for more learnings.
Thank you, Teacher Mary. So now let us proceed with the benefits of reading silently or benefits of silent reading. So here I'm going to share this with you. Now, we have a simple and easy to remember mnemonics for the benefits of silent reading. We have clear, C for concentration, L for literacy improvement, E for enhanced comprehension, A for accelerated reading speed, and R for retention of information. Now, let's go to the first letter, which is C for concentration. Silent reading helps improve focus by minimizing distractions, allowing readers to fully engage with the text. So when we read silently, our brain isn't distracted by having to pronounce words to listen to someone. We're able to focus fully on the text, which trains our mind to block out distractions. So it's like a workout for your attention span, something we all need in today's fast-paced, noisy world. So let's proceed to the next letter. Letter L, which is literacy improvement. So it enhances overall literacy skills, including grammar, spelling, and sentence structure by exposing readers to well-formed language. So the more we read silently, the more we're exposed to proper grammar, spelling, and sentence structure. Over time, we naturally absorb these patterns and apply them in our own speaking and writing. So think of silent reading as a behind-the-scenes coach. So they quietly shape our language skills. So to the next one. E is for enhanced comprehension. So reading silently allows readers to process information at their own pace, leading to better understanding of the material. So reading out loud often splits our attention between pronunciation and meaning. Well, silent reading, on the other hand, lets us fully process ideas, reflect, and even reread parts we didn't quite get. This deeper engagement leads to better understanding of the text and stronger critical thinking skills too. Now, for the next letter, A is for accelerated reading speed. Without the need to vocalize, readers can move through text more quickly, improving their reading fluency over time. When we read silently, we skip the extra step of saying each word. So this allows our eyes and brain to move more quickly through sentences and paragraphs. Faster reading means we can finish more books, articles, or assignments in less time without sacrificing understanding. And for the last letter, R, retention of information. So silent reading supports better memory and long-term retention, as the brain can focus on meaning rather than pronunciation. So silent reading allows our brains to focus on absorbing ideas and storing them in memory. Without vocal distractions, we tend to remember more of what we read, especially when we're fully engaged and reading at our own pace. So, to wrap it all up with the benefits of silent reading, we have to remember silent reading helps keep your mind clear. C for concentration, L for literacy improvement, E for enhanced comprehension, A for accelerated reading speed, and R for retention of information. Now let's proceed with the next one, which is subvocalization. So let's dive into this concept that quietly shapes how we read. It is something most of us do without realizing. Now, to help you understand better, just remember the word voice. VOICE. So let's break it down. V, verbalizing internally. O, organ helps recall. I, interferes with speed. C, comprehension aid, but E, eliminate, not really. So let's begin with V. Now, V, verbalizing internally. So subvocalization is silently saying words in your head while reading. So it's the little voice in your mind that reads along with you. It's totally natural, and most of us learn to read this way. Next one, O, organ helps recall. So it activates speech-related organs, which is the lips, the tongue, and the throat, and aids memory. Even when we're not speaking, our brain subtly activates the muscles we use to talk, like silent speech. So this process helps us remember and understand the words better. Now for the next letter, I, interferes with speed. So slows reading down to the pace of speech, around 200 to 250 WPM, or words per minute. So here's the downside. Because you're speaking each word in your head, you read at the same pace as talking. That's slow if you're trying to read fast or cover a lot of material. Now for the next letter, C, comprehension aid. But subvocalization helps you understand individual words. So it helps understanding individual words, but too much can hurt overall meaning. So, but if you get stuck on every word, you might miss the bigger meaning of the sentence or paragraph. So it can both help and hold you back. So for the last letter, E, eliminate, not really. So subvocalization cannot be removed completely, but can be managed with reading strategies. So subvocalization is part of how we process language. So you can't fully stop it, but you can manage it. So you can try these. So you can guide your eyes with your fingers or a pen, or you can group words and read in chunks, or practice silent reading without hearing every word. So to wrap it all up, just remember, next time you're reading and you hear that voice in your head, don't worry. So it's normal. Just remember voice. V for verbalizing internally. O for organ helps recall. I for interferes with speed. C for comprehension aid. E for eliminate, not really. So by understanding subvocalization, you can learn when to use it and when to work around it to become smarter, faster readers. So that's all with subvocalization. And now I will give the floor to teacher Charlie.
Thank you, Orion. So now let's dive in to the goals of silent reading in education. Next slide, please. For you to easy to understand the goals of silent reading, I provided mnemonics, the CCLR. C for comprehension, another C for complex text, L for longer period, and R for reinforcement. Next slide, please. For the first goal is read silently with a high degree of comprehension. Understand what you read without saying the words out loud, grasping the main ideas and details. So this means that students should not only be able to decode text but also understand and interpret its meaning. High comprehension is essential for students to connect ideas and make inferences and also critically analyze the materials they read. And by focusing on comprehension, we prepare students to engage with more complex texts in the future. Next slide, please. The second goal is silently read increasingly complex texts successfully. Progressively tackle more challenging books and articles, gaining confidence as you handle tougher materials. So, as students advance in the reading skills, they should be exposed to more challenging materials. This gradually increase their complexity, um, helps build their confidence and enhances their ability to tackle diverse genres and also topics. And it's important to encourage students to embrace these challenges as they are essential for academic growth. And the next goal is read silently for longer periods of time. Build the ability to focus and read for extended duration, enhancing your concentration and enjoyment for reading. So, developing a stamina in reading is crucial. Readers needs to practice reading for extended duration to improve their focus and retention. So, these goals encourages students to immerse themselves in text, leading to deeper understanding and enjoyment in a reading. And the last goal is read silently for comprehension without or with less teacher supported reinforcement. Become more independent in understanding text, relying on your own skills rather than needing constant help from teachers. So, while guidance is important, the ultimate aim is for students to become independent readers. And these goals emphasizes self-sufficiency and understanding text, allowing the students to rely on their skills and strategies to make sense of what they read. And it fosters a sense of autonomy and confidence in their reading abilities. So in summary, the goals of reading silent reading are essential for developing proficient and confident readers. By focusing on these goals, we can cultivate a love for reading and empower students to become a lifelong learner. And I think that's all for my part, and I will give the virtual floor to Miss Kathleen Itorma.
Good day, everyone. Now we will proceed to the use of silent reading in education. So, one important method used in schools is silent reading, where students read quietly to themselves without speaking out loud. This activity helps students improve their reading comprehension, vocabulary, and concentration. It also allows them to enjoy stories, articles, and books at their own pace. Next slide, please. So here's a more detailed look at the use of silent reading. So first is enhanced comprehension. Silent reading allows students to concentrate on the text without distractions, leading to deeper understanding of the content. So this allows students to focus entirely on the text without external interruptions or the pressure of reading aloud. This quiet personal reading time encourages deeper engagement with the material, giving students the chance to fully process and understand what they are reading. So, unlike oral reading, where students might be more concerned with pronunciation and pacing, silent reading lets them move at their own speed, slowing down, rereading difficult sections, or pausing to reflect when needed. Next slide. Next is vocabulary and fluency improvement. Silent reading exposes students to new words and phrases, expanding their vocabulary. So, silent reading plays an important role in enhancing students' vocabulary and reading fluency. When students read independently, they are naturally exposed to a wide range of new words and phrases within different contexts. This exposure helps them to learn the meaning of unfamiliar words by using context clues from the sentences around them. The more frequently students encounter new vocabulary during silent reading, the more likely they are to remember and use these words in their speaking and writing. Next slide. The third one is independent reading and reading motivation. So silent reading provides opportunities for students to engage with text independently, promoting self-directed learning. Silent reading encourages students to read independently, giving them the freedom to explore different kinds of text at their own pace. This promotes self directed learning as students take responsibility for choosing what they want to read based on their personal interests and reading abilities. When students have the opportunity to select their own reading materials, whether it's fiction, non fiction, comics, or magazines, they feel more motivated and engaged because the content is meaningful and enjoyable to them. Next slide. For the fourth one, retention and application of knowledge. Silent reading allows students to process and retain information at their own pace. Silent reading provides students with a chance to absorb and process information at their own pace without the pressure of reading aloud or keeping up with others. This focus and interrupted time will help students better understand what they are reading, which leads to deeper retention of information. When students truly comprehend a text, they are more likely to remember important details, ideas, and lessons from it. Moreover, silent reading encourages students to connect the content they read with their own experiences, background knowledge, or other subjects they've studied. Next slide. For the last one, supporting literacy development. Silent reading is a fundamental skill used in various academic settings from classroom activities to specialized texts. Silent reading is a vital part of developing strong literacy skills in students. It is widely used in different academic settings from daily classroom activities to standardized tests where students are required to read, comprehend text independently. Through regular silent reading, students strengthen K literacy components such as reading comprehension, vocabulary, and critical thinking. As students read silently, they practice understanding various types of text, analyzing ideas, and expanding their vocabulary by encountering new words and contexts. Next slide, please. Now that we've discussed the five important uses of silent reading, let's review them together to help us remember. So to make it easier for us to recall these key points, I have a simple mnemonics for you. It's called EVERSE. And here what it stands for. E stands for enhanced comprehension. V stands for vocabulary and fluency improvement. I stands for independent reading and motivation. R stands for retention and application. And S stands for supporting literacy development. This mnemonics will help us easily remember the benefits of silent reading and why it is important to make it a regular habit. So that's all for the use of silent reading in education. Now I will call Miss Ikong to continue the discussion.
Thank you so much. So, good day, everyone. Today, I will be talking about sustained silent reading, or SSR stands for, and the challenges that come with it. Next slide, please. So, what is sustained silent reading, or SSR? So, sustained silent reading is when teachers give students a set time during the day, usually between 10 to 30 minutes to read quietly and independently. So, the best part of SSR is that students get to choose what they want to read. It could be a novel, a comic book, a magazine, or even non-fiction books. So let's say, for example, in a grade 5 class, One student might read a fantasy story, another might read a book about animals, and someone else might enjoy a comic book series. So the goal of SSR is to make reading fun and personal. Next slide, please. So the main purpose of SSR is to help students enjoy reading, build reading habits, and become more independent learners, or support self-directed learning. So it's not about grades, it's about helping students see reading as something they want to do, not something they have to do. So for you to understand better, we have the mnemonics here: EBS, encourage, build, support. Below is how is SSR implemented. So in SSR, it is to works when teachers give regular time for reading. So let students pick their books and provide access to books through the school library or classroom reading corners. So the mnemonics here is the TFA: time, freedom of choice of students, and accessibility of students. Next slide, please. So in SSR, or sustained silent reading, has many benefits. It can help improve reading fluency and vocabulary. It creates a peaceful reading environment and helps students stay motivated because they're in control of what they read. So RPM, reading fluency and vocabulary, positive attitudes, lastly, motivation and independence. But like anything, however, SSR has its challenges. So some studies show that it doesn't always lead to better test scores. Also, if students choose books that are too easy, they might not improve much. Sometimes students pretend to read or lose focus, and some teachers worry that SSR takes time away from lessons. So let's say, for example, one school decided to stop SSR because many students were not really engaged, and some picked books that were too simple for their level. So next slide, please. Therefore, to sum it up, SSR, or sustained silent reading, can be a great way to build a love for reading, especially when students are given choices and support. But for it to work well, teachers should guide students in picking meaningful books and make sure they stay engaged. So to continue, may I call Mr. Tampos.
Okay, so here is our evaluation. So, number one, in what ways does silent reading enhance students' comprehension skills compared to traditional reading aloud? Number two, what are the benefits of practicing silent reading in the classroom? Number three, what is sustained silent reading and how does it promote student engagement in reading? Now, you can include an example of how SSR might look in a real classroom. So that would be all. Thank you for your time and attention. Remember that Silent Way isn't just about silence. It's about empowering learners to discover and construct knowledge for themselves. Keep exploring creative approaches in teaching and let your students' voices shine through their independence. Goodbye and happy teaching.